Oh yeah, I'm excited about this game. We continue our journey into the most atomic of the pentatonics. Kaboom! Kaboom! And the kids love it. Yeah, I just got my fridge magnet yesterday too, and it's holding up the world. All my to-do lists now staring me right back in the face. There's no loosening that grip. Let's get into it, kiddos. What do we have up there? What intonation is up there? Can anyone tell me what two keys are we bouncing back between, and why was I so diabolical in not letting those two shapes be back to back, right? Belly to belly, as we like to have them. Because sometimes the way that you like to do it isn't the way that's being offered. Sometimes you like to make a left turn from the right lane and you can't do it. So let's check out this situation here. Down here in box 1. But we're playing G major to start with here. It's gonna switch. Just kick the tires, bop it around, and see if you can land on some of those G roots. Get ready, now we gotta switch. Okay, so we're gonna add some structure as we go, and we're gonna take a survey. Survey says of all 5 of these spots today. Yeah, I know, right? It's gonna be a flyby view, you know, like on Golden Tee when you watch the replay and you hit the flyby button. Anyone? Okay, G from the top string. Let that ring. Play that lick again. Here we go. And again. One more time. Okay, now we're starting with this E. You notice we're just playing a portion of this scale chunk. We're not running all the way down. Let's go from low to high. You know what we're going to introduce here is a little bit of chromaticism. Boo, ba, ba, boo, ba, 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 ba. It's a classic sort of country lick. Boo, ba, 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 ba. So on the 5th string, we're introducing chromatic, but we don't need a whole new scale pattern for it. That's why when people say, well, this is the blues scale. I mean, yeah, adding that chromatic note for sure. But it's not that huge kind of, we don't need another entire chart devoted to it. Okay, let's get up here now. Just kick the tires on this, bounce around, play until you can remind yourself where those G root notes are. There's one on the 5th string there. Now get ready to play an E. Back to that G. Let's start from this G right here and play up. And if you're still having issues with navigating, when I say up, I'm always talking about up in pitch, up towards the thinner strings, which may in fact be towards the floor. We gotta deal with that, gang. Now we're playing from this E up here on the top string. Then we land on that E there. Again, starting on this top string. Let's add some chromatic here. A good spot to, right there, right? Now let's add it back in, starting on this G. It's in fact the same chromatic note we were adding way down here. And it's connecting those two notes within the scale. Where my pitches at? It's a good. Somebody's done that shirt. It's okay. We don't need to add to that. All right. I need to ask y'all for your opinion. What box do you want to learn today? Just answer with a single number. Actually, we can do this as a poll. Do you want to? We've got box 1. We've got box 5. So you're voting for 2, 3, or 4. We've already got 1 and 5. So vote with your numbers, and what the survey says, whatever you say goes. Because I got them. I got them all waiting in the wings, you know? Cardboard. Can't remember what that's in reference to. We got the votes rolling in. Some people want to learn 2. Some people want to, they want to learn 6. They want to go Bed Bath & Beyond on this. The 3 is getting a lot of votes too. You got to play, and you can only vote once. I think if you vote again, it moves your vote to a different one. It looks like, people are kind of moving towards 3. Do you even know what 3? Do you know what you're signing yourself up for? I don't think you guys want to learn 3. I mean, but the survey says you just like the number 3. Would you think it has the best? Kyle, everybody, give it up for Kyle, brand new member, one of our brand new members, and. For that reason, you're going to get featured here. Check this out. This is Kyle's actual speaking voice out in the wild. This is Kyle. Oh, shoot. We're getting there. I hit the wrong button. Let's see. Kyle had a great question. It goes like this.
Which of those boxes would you think has the best utility triads within them?
Triads. It's a great question. And I tell you what. Not to be the guy who's like, well, it depends, and all of them, but kind of all of them, and it depends, and it's if you're here already, you're gonna learn triads, trust me. And if you want to learn triads and you want to learn the pentatonic, we might have some favorites that we lean on a lot, but the truth is, we should absolutely do all of them. That said, we're gonna grab some of them, and what I get excited about is when you guys decide which ones are your favorites. So. Let's look at, the people spoke for box 3. Let me show you box 3 and see if you're ready for that. You chose the one that's floating out in the middle on its own. That's probably the one you're all the least familiar with, but you're getting crazy on me. So let's do it. Let's inquire here about box 3. And to sort of talk a little bit about triads, and then we're going to get into just this week. We really are kind of drilling a lot of things. Sometimes we get way off into the theory, and it's kind of fun to get into the juicy aspects of the chord progressions and all that stuff. And I love song stuff, but I also know that we have to flat out get the reps in on these shapes because I know that we don't have all 5 of them. And why not have all 5 of them? Because with each one of these pentatonic shapes, you get major and minor. That's what we keep going over and over again. If you know the relative major and minor, in this case, we've got G major and E minor. You're going to be so useful. We got all the boxes there. If we were to light them all up, don't puke, but if you puke, it's okay because you're miles away from me right now. But that's all of them. And maybe you have a diagram like that up on the wall behind you. God bless you if you do. I hope it's a black light poster because that might make it worthwhile. Otherwise, I think it's nauseating to look at all of them all at once. So we're going to take a bunch away. And let's look at box 3 and just sort of, this will be sort of like a get to know your local, pentatonic monger, as it were. Okay, so I'm looking now for right there. You might be able to see that to Kyle's question. That's one of my favorite triad shapes. So what triad is that? Who's got that for 12 points? Because there's a lot of ways that we can get to know this this pentatonic area just by kind of asking ourselves, well, what's this? What's that? Sort of investigating. If this is a root right there, we got a G major. Yeah, we got a few people coming in saying G major. So that's an identifying root shape right there. This is a G major, because just know that these are all going to be G major pentatonic or E minor pentatonic, and they'll be the same dots, right? They're all 5 shapes, right? So this is that G major. That one's great. And that would be well worth your time, Kyle, and everyone, to be able to be like, all right, if I'm playing G down here in an open G or playing a bar chord one like that, I should be able to make this leap to that shape without it being a huge high wire act, right? testing that distance over and over again so that you can gently and easily find that, you should be able to do that in A, right? And there's various ways, multiple ways you can locate that. The best would be just learning the names of the notes on the second string, because if you know that that's G, and you know that when you have a root there on the second string, you can build that little triangle as a major triad shape. That's it. Don't overthink it. You're good to go. That is the major triad shape where the root is on the second string. That is literally it. There's not a bunch of other ones hiding under the couch. That's it, that triangle. So if you're able to do that, you can do that. If you're on C, can you do that? Right? You might be able to do it, but do not try to count frets like, okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's a diagonal from there. Don't try to make it that complicated. Have it be one motion that you can get nice and smooth. So if you get to this triad, guess what you get is that you get yourself like centered and anchored in a familiar locale, so that, let's say if we wanted to go, and that's what we'll do actually, instead of talking about it anymore, I'm just going to make sure that this little loop stays on G major. Okay, so we've got this G major, and we're gonna get to know this box by playing a triad, then playing a little connecting fill. So play this triad right here. Here we go. That much. Match that using your ear and watching the dots. Play the triad. We'll play all the way down the scale there. So we got blah, 1 and 2 and boom. It's got that. Couple more times. So a little area there suddenly has more of a reason for being. It's like, for the moment, like, yes, that shape that we see there is if I'm looking for this shape when I'm playing, that little phrase that I played, while I'm playing that phrase, this is more, I'm going to try to demonstrate more or less, like, this is more how I'm seeing the scale shape. Like, I'm sort of graying out these other dots for the time being. They're there if I need to access them, but they're sort of in like standby mode. So that all I'm seeing is like, I got that triad, and I got. So it's this smaller little sort of chunk. And I don't want you to like memorize this shape. This isn't like something I'm going to make a YouTube video about. Like that, all I'm demonstrating is that in my mind, I'm shining sort of a spotlight of awareness on the area that is going to give me some musical result, which might in and of itself be kind of a philosophical switch for you right there. So I got this root here. It's got a nice triad right there. I missed a note there. So boom. Right. So this one right here is, and this is where this is where I can't directly say that each shape is going to have all the triads living in it, because triads will overlap and cruise across shapes, which is part of what makes them really interesting. But the next G that we have, the next root that we have is this one right here, right there. So let's check out this. That's a nice low triad right there, which is beautiful. And this will sort of help throw us into this like lower half of this scale pattern. So let's play a little phrase with this. Da, 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 bim, boom, bum. Here we go. 1, da, da, bim, boom, bum. Like that. There we go, right? Ba, ba, da, bim, boom, bum. Try playing that with me. Da, ba, ba, bim, boom, bum. Da, ba, ba, da, da, bim, boom, bum. Okay, so when I'm zeroing in on that area of the scale, not too surprisingly, it's a little bit like this. It's a little bit like, at the moment, I've just sort of told all these other dots, hey, I'll need you when I need you, but right now I'm just making a meal out of this. And a lot of times we overlook the beautiful low triads that have all this riffy quality when we break them up. You know, if we play a triad separately, it creates this really cool boom boom ba 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 boom ba 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 da ba ba. Yeah, Calf Tech, you came in late, and now I know, because yeah, we're on box 3. The tribe voted for it, and so that's why we're breaking down box 3. Okay, so now we've got an access point to like the lower half and the upper half of this box 3 shape, right? And so hopefully that shows you that I'm not lying when I say, when you know where these roots are, when these anchors are there, they give you more than just being like, okay, quiz show, I know where the G is. That's great, but it's your ability to locate where you are. I always think of the word registration in graphic design. When you're printing things, you need registration. That's like the name for those little crosshairs that have to line up so that the CMYK, all the colors line up. If the registration is off, you get the wonky sort of like blurry edges and stuff. And if you have good registration where you're lining up like a good sort of like you bring all of your dots, you can line them up with a good crisp edge, marking where the root is. You get the idea? Like that's literally your anchor. And then from there, you can build out your triad shapes. You can build out your licks and your fills that you like to do. And this all comes back to what you like to do with it. So I'll play rhythm. You just jam over this. And I want you to try to avoid just don't get too caught up in trying to learn the entire shape. Play a little stretch of it. And please do not, on your side of the screen, do not be going, okay, so it's a 2, and then it's a 2, it's a rectangle, and then it's a... Move out of that phase as soon as you can. Just try to purely get your fingers to memorize like it's a non-verbal thing. It's not actually like it's a 4 fret, then it's a... Don't do that. Don't do that. We're better than that. I promise you. Here we go. How are we feeling? Is that making sense on a scale of 1 to 4? Hello, Lolly. Lolly's getting into a wrestle position. Razzle dazzle. I like it. I like that we're throwing ourselves into box 3, the dreaded box 3, because I think as we cruise through these different boxes, you'll have certain things where you're like, oh, it's like this song, or it's like that thing that I like to do, blah, blah, blah. That's great. Totally is great that you already have experience with these in different ways, but maybe not. And by no means is this box supposed to be where you just stay. As we get more comfortable, you will absolutely be expected to and be liberated to do things like, any particular adjacent, or you could leapfrog, whatever, you could skip over them. But like a lot of times you'll be doing things that are like, you'll be spending a lot of time cruising between two of the shapes and in the upper register of them. So it was never anyone's intention when they created these diagrams for you to literally stay in the box. You know, you gotta break out of that thing, as we all just keep on saying. So now let's just make sure that we're able to locate the E minor. Okay, so let's switch over to the E minor and let's see if we got some triads here. When it comes to these pentatonic boxes, what you're probably going to find, and this is kind of cool, is that if that's a G major triad, what that's going to be when you switch over to E minor is like, it gives you a really nice E minor 7. So that's not technically a triad, because a triad would be 3 notes, 1 through 5. It's a 3-note chord. That's great. We're omitting the root right here. We've got what you call D, G, and B. But where would we find the E notes in here? Here's a good spot right there. And what's great about that is that particularly for lead stuff, that's going to set you up for success for all those nice bluesy kind of... Yeah. Right? And so the triad for that E would be back that way. Sounds like Island in the Sun. So it goes back that way. So if you have that, that extends back into that shape. But let's mess around a little bit with just that kind of register like we did before on the G major. Try matching that. And I was doing chromatic. Let's do that. 2, 3, 4. Oh, that one's switching back to the G. Gotta make sure we don't do that. For now, we're just staying right there in E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. So. Oh, missed it. Okay. So approaching from below, approaching from above, starting on the root and going up, starting on the root and going down. And if you want that E minor 7, just play that G major triad. That's always going to create an E minor 7. And then a nice little 2-note kind of power chord there, basically, right? All right, let's continue. Let's keep the track going. We'll continue down to the next E. Should be right there. This one's absolutely, this is a moneymaker. Who can name this tune? Not like that. Even over this sort of swing feel. Check out. Here we go. You need a coolin'. Baby, I'm not a foolin'. I'm gonna give you my love. Is that making sense? I mean, like not making sense what I'm actually doing at this moment. Wubba lubba dub dub. Right? I mean, if you are sleeping on this area of the pentatonic, bummer to be you. Because oh my God, the Root Sandstorm, like that's the song. I think my fiance probably just heard me say that she's worried that like, oh no, he's gonna have to do the whole song, because that's like me and my buddies like ultimate. No, I won't say guilty pleasure, just pleasure song. That song comes on, and now I think younger generations have picked it up. If there's anything that society's gonna do to leave its thumbprint in the oatmeal of the cosmos, it's that. That and wubba lubba dub dub. Show me what you got. Okay, gang. Is this making sense here? Let's just do a little bit more riffing and rocking on this, because each one of these shapes, each one of these patterns has its own personality, its own gold that it's going to give to you. You might be like, great, I'm good, I don't care. If at the end of this week you're like, you know what, I think I'm okay. That's fine. That's a different type of player. That's all I'm saying. The type of player that I like to be, and this is not me trying to like I had a really good coach growing up I played water polo. That was my main sport. And the best thing about the coach is that he was so zen. He was able to just, anytime we hit something that was going to be a pain in the ass or exhausting, or like extra push-ups after the workout or whatever, or we would tread water holding like metal chairs or jugs of water and all this crap, would be like, oh God, do we have to do that today? It's like, no, it's okay. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. But I mean, your rival across town, they're doing it. And it's like, oh God. And it would just turn that key inside of you that's like, all right, I know the right thing to do. So I can easily tell you, it's all right. You definitely don't have to learn all 5 shapes. You'll be great. You'll be great. With what you have, you'll make it work, and you'll find your personality. And there will be other people that know all 5 shapes, and they find all the fruit in those, and they'll be able to just move between them. But that's just a different type of player, right? It's a different type of player. Okay, do horses get waterlogged? Ba-doom, I need one of those. What we got?
Awesome.
That's a really good joke, TT. Still have your beanie? No, they take those back, unfortunately. Can anyone guess what number I was? Pepperdine water polo. I missed that. Was there something else Yeah, Pepperdine was great. Had a lot of friends that went there. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Hawaii, so we had like literally one other team to compete against, and so we had to usually make a fall trip to California. Anyway, Darude Sandstorm, great too. You got to hear it acoustic though. The unplugged version is great. Would have been wrong to use a root inversion of E minor. I'm not sure what you mean, Brian. If you can tell me more, and I don't think it would be wrong because you sound confident, and that's most of what counts in music. Let's see, people making references. Anyone talking about Speedos? Okay, do you typically stay on the 4, 5, 6 string in that shape? Okay, the 3rd and 4th string. Yeah, in this shape, like I guess like the 3rd and 4th string are a little. I guess there may be a little more in between. Like as far as like if I was here, it doesn't quite have as much going on there. Maybe it's music; you can do anything, right? And then the moment I get down here, I got this. And then when I go above that, seven was my brother's number. I was number 3. So yeah, with this shape, when it comes to that minor sound, I tend to favor kind of the upper register and the lower register. It's not a bad way to go because again, the reoccurring theme is like, I've got my root as an anchor for locating, for registering where I am. It's also a great way for me to have some phrases to build into the root and build off of it. So when I say use the root, I'll demonstrate usually trying to start and end phrases on it. That's by no means the only way to use it. That would become repetitive and too predictable. So you want to just have an awareness of it so you could start away from the root and then hit it. Or use it as a springboard. And then when it comes to the major side of things, especially, it's got a little more of that. It leans towards the triads. And then this one, that triad kind of reaches out of the shape a bit, but that's yet again why you're going to want to have your triads and your pentatonic shapes dialed in so that you don't feel like, oh no, I can't go there because I'll lose my place. You have to be able to be elastic with your awareness of like, all that is me like going towards familiar shapes, grabbing onto them like a buoy, and then like passing through the scale pattern, triad, floating on that like a raft, triad, next scale pattern up there. And phrases that just involve a little bit of putting a little grease on it so the pentatonic doesn't always just sound like beep, boop, bop, beep, bop, beep, bop, beep, bop, beep, bop, beep. Okay, so pay attention to this because this is something that we're going to bring into the fold with each one of these shapes. The hand positioning. Obviously, as I move around, you see me kind of like changing the hand positioning a bit, but for the most part, I think this maybe doesn't get emphasized as much as it should, at least by me. I'm guilty of this, is that making sure you're set up for success. If I were to start playing like this scale pattern right here, like let's say with my 3rd finger right there, I'm way out of position, right? Because pretty much everything I need to do after hitting that note is going to require me, in fact, everything as far as I can tell, it's going to require me being here. If I'm there, I'm out of position and I can't. The moment that I slide into the correct hand positioning, it's a lot more fluid. And that's why you'll see players that look like they're barely moving their hand. Like some people that have come to Nashville, like Jared recently came to Nashville and he saw some incredible players down on Broadway. And for the most part, I've heard a lot of you guys say this is like, it looks like their hand's barely moving. And a lot of that is just because they've over and over again put their hand in the right spot so that there's a finger that is sort of responsible for each fret. And there's plenty of room where you can embellish it and move away on a whim. But the idea is that you've got to just repeatedly get yourself set up here. So a lot of what I will do, again, using the roots, if I'm aiming at these roots right here, like these G's, I pretty much will set up my fingers so that, right now I have so there are the G notes right there, right? Just take note of that. And I might stray a bit from that, I guess, especially if I'm doing like switching to that because I'm more comfortable. But it's more about just having the meat of your hand hovering over cover the map. Do not be hanging out here thinking like, I'm playing this shape. Like you're not right there. You're set up to play Shape 2. I have them all in a wacky order. Like, you're set up to play shape 2, and that would be great if that's what you meant to do, right? So we'll talk more about that as we go throughout the rest of this week. But for this pattern right here, you want to have, let's say, it really is the span of those 4 frets, and then this note back here is the exception that you have to sort of figure out as you go, right? There's going to be a lot of these shapes that will span 5 frets, and you have to kind of like adjust and be able to sort of, it's almost like you have to be able to wiggle by 1 fret, but you don't want to be hopping around by 2 frets. If you're switching constantly, that's going to really screw you up, and you're going to feel like it's a lot more work than it needs to be. Okay, so any other questions? I'm going to sort of look through these, and then I'll set you free. And I hope you guys, I'm not going to jump into the Zoom room tonight, but the Zoom room is open, ready to go. And I think I've confirmed that you can jump in at any time you want using any one of those links in the Zoom room area. I'll show you again here in a second. But let's see in somebody's other questions here. Second, third string pattern. Okay, that was refinement. USA coach was in Malibu. Yeah, one of my best friends and teammates. I was All-American in high school. No, not to my own horn. But my friend, who's like the MVP, won the national championship at UCLA a couple of times. MVP there. He's in the Hall of Fame there. Went to the Olympics. Sean Kern, look him up. Total stud. So I got to be his right hand man. I became a very good playmaker. I was sort of like but I scored a lot of goals too. It was a lot of fun. I was a rough player. Maybe it wouldn't surprise you. I was pretty relentless, and it's what's under the water that counts. Okay, yeah, it's lean as mean as no far. That's true. Bill Murray knows. Double stops, bad to the bone. Yes, double stops could be there. Not so much in there, but every shape should have its own triads. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. And I'm only saying that because it's like that's not something that I have needed to memorize. It's more like as you get good at your triads, which you just should, and you get good at your pentatonic shapes, which you just should, you will just see them overlapping with each other. It's a little bit like sort of a network of roads that overlap, and sometimes they're exactly lined up, and other times it's like, oh, this one goes here and then that one goes there. You just got to keep going until they start to be non-stressful, switching between different areas of them. And I know it seems like a lot, but literally if we take them in chunks like this, then you get them more comfortable. I was number 3. Arnott was number 10. These are friends that I played at Michigan with. Okay, so anything else about music? Should the shape be learned at the same level? We got to get Keith's voice up here so we can hear what Keith sounds like.
Should the shape be learned at the same time as the interval numbers, or just be aware of the sound of each note in the scale?
That's a good question. We're not talking about intervals, but it's always there. Like obviously, if I were to, and you're not asking for this, but like if I were to try to cover all of the things that I think are the most important, even if I tried to limit it just to like the real, like the tip of the iceberg that is like absolutely critical, it would be in terms of fretboard awareness. I'm not even talking about timing and mechanics. It would be intervals, it would be triads, and it would probably be these pentatonic shapes, and quite frankly, the full scale shapes. Like nobody wants to do it, and I keep sneaking it back in as often as I can. But if you wanted to go on a spirit quest and come back to us, but you have to come back to us and report your findings as you go. You can't go off and just grow a beard and get weird. Like you have to, I would say, learn the major scale in every spot. That's the thing that nobody wants to believe is important. They want to think, oh, pentatonic is fine, we're doing it. But my real hope is that once you get comfortable with this pentatonic, you will actually see that it's not hard at all to just add the rest of the meat to the bones. And then when you have that, you'll have hopefully an awareness of like root, third, 5, like you can start to build the important intervals. So for right now, what I would say is like, I'm showing you that if you only know one interval and it counts, you have the root and the other root. So you have an octave. You have this awareness that like if we're in G in this shape right here, you have a 1 and you have a 1. I would love it if along the way, and this is something that you could make a point of, Keith, like for your own study, is like, I would love it if you became really comfortable knowing that if I'm in G, That's going to be a major third. And then you can start to collect those like Pokemon and be like, oh, great. Well, then that's a 3. That's a 3 also. Okay, great. That would be enough. I want you to like really internalize these intervals so that you got them little by little. And this is what I get into in the Fast Forward program. But it is something where people get a little spooked and they get up in their head about it because they go, well, if 1 and 3 is good, well, then I should probably know that that's 2. I should probably know that that's 6 or whatever. I should probably know that that's like, and then they go hog wild with it and then they don't remember any of them. It's something I often poke fun at because it's like, oh, great. So you're going to like, you had a sip of water. Now you're going to drink the ocean and swallow the whole thing. It's like, that's just not how it works. Eventually you will get them all. But yeah, it's just that's that American Girl riff. Anyway, what else I was going to say? So the hand positioning, all that. Let me show you, if you don't know, where this Zoom room action is happening, especially if you're new. It's amazing we got so many great new people coming in. I can tell you're great already because you're jumping in and asking really good questions. So in the practice tools area here, practice tools, Zoom room. Okay, up here at the top, these are tabs that basically open up entire other pages, right? But they're all categorized here in practice tools. Go to Zoom room. Now these are just sort of arbitrary time slots, and it's helpful if you want to RSVP to these. Just like, what do we got? I think we got like this is for Wednesday. This is for tomorrow. And it looks like it says that I'm RSVP because I created the event, but I will most likely not be there. Chris and Terry have made an RSVP to hang out and jam tomorrow, which is great. That's friggin' awesome. And that's where you can go to meet up with people at that time. But I want you to also know is that you could go to any one of these links here, and it's the exact same link to the exact same Zoom room. So if it's 3 p.m. on a Tuesday or whenever, and you agree to jump in there with someone, you could go to this exact same link, and whenever you hit it, it'll pop open. Literally, it's opening Zoom right now, which is not the best idea in the world. But that's where you guys will go now to go, I got to close Zoom now. But that's just to demonstrate that you can feel free to drop in whenever you are inspired and you have someone else that wants to meet up. Any questions? Any questions? We will continue our sojourn through all these shapes. Just for fun, we will jam our way out here. I'll bring up the boxes that we already kind of sort of know, maybe. I will circle on this just the G's. There's a G, there's a G, everywhere a G, G. Isn't that kind of neat? Because if you stick with this, you will gradually understand where all of the notes on the fretboard are just by locating the roots and slowly moving through the various keys. And you can start with just your favorite keys. That's all good. But so what we have up here, just see it. You've got 3 different zones here. You can do this. We're going to stay just in G major. We're not going to switch over to E minor. And I want you to try to spend some time in each area. Play it like it sounds like you're in G, meaning play it short little licks, and you could even try to play the same riff in 3 different spots. Why would you do that? I don't know, because I thought it was just cool and I did it. I don't know. Triad, 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 triad. Arpeggio, triad, triad. Well, oh, here's one. Yeah, it's all good stuff, gang. It is all good stuff. See if you like. Ooh, there's the horizontal format, just to throw you off. Triad, 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 triad. Will it be 2 or will it be 4 tomorrow? Tune in! You never know. You never know. Daniel, everybody, we got a lot of new people. Give it up for all the new people. They're amazing for showing up, being brave. We'll see you soon. Oh yeah, Terry Schroeder, yeah. You know, he was actually the person that they made the sculpture of the 1984 Olympics, the man and the woman sculpture. That was the body. That was what we were told. It was like, whoa, look at that guy. They had to, make a nude sculpture of that guy. Anyway, random.